Okay, guys, thanks for tuning in tonight to our July 23rd team meeting. This is a social media bootcamp meeting, and I think I just kind of was thinking a lot of the questions I've gotten lately are centered around like inviting and social media. So I thought this would be a good place to start. And this is by no means going to be comprehensive just because there is literally so much that you can research and learn about this. But the beautiful thing about it is if you want to dive more into a certain platform or a certain app or something, there's tons of material out there on YouTube. So I thought for starters, I would just give a couple of the announcements. Our team has like the Lift 4 challenge group going on right now. I know a lot of you are doing it. And we are just continuously adding people into that group over the next few weeks. I honestly think I might do Lift 4 a few times. So I feel like, keeping that group open for a while is good. I think 80-day obsession, we kind of are to the point where we're not really adding as many people into that group. So if you have new people that want to start 80-day obsession, I would put them into our like all-encompassing challenge group. And our next all-encompassing challenge group will start next week. And I think in just chatting with people like about what they were struggling with and this time of year with it almost being back to school, we talked about doing another like Miracle Morning theme group, which means that basically like all next week we can kind of use it to prep or to add people to. And then the week after we can actually get started, but we can in the group kind of share what the Miracle Morning theme is. And if you guys don't have the book or you haven't read it, don't worry, you could still participate in the group. But it basically is a book that is really geared towards like getting up earlier, getting your workout in, doing your personal development, maybe doing a little journaling or, whatever, having some silent time for yourself. And we did this last year and it was a really good theme for a lot of the ladies in our group. We had a lot of good engagement. One thing I did was like my new challengers, I told them I would send them a copy of the book if they signed up for a challenge pack. And so I sent out a few copies of that book. You might consider doing something like that, or obviously people can always get their first audiobook on Audible for free. So as you have challengers that you're talking to, maybe you can use the like inviting from the perspective of we're working towards like getting more productive in the mornings, getting our workouts done, having a better day as a result. And I can honestly say from the mom perspective, I operate much better if I get up early and get my quiet time in before I'm encountered with the little people. So if you have moms that you're talking to, it might be a good thing. If you have people that are just literally struggling in general, it's a really good thing. The book is really wonderful and powerful. So keep that in mind as you invite. I'll be sharing like a graphic and stuff this week and giving you just a little bit more details about the group. I feel like everything this month is just flying by, so I haven't quite gotten that done yet. And I kind of wanted to just take a minute to recognize some people and then talk about this promotion that Carl just announced yesterday. So far this month, our team has helped 20 people. We did set a goal earlier in the year to make it 50 a month. So it'd be awesome if everybody could go out and help one person. We definitely have enough people in the group to blow 50 out of the water if we do that. And there's still plenty of time. So don't feel like, it's July 23rd and you're not where you want to be yet. No big deal. Like, some people are coming off summer vacations and they need you to be inviting them to your groups. They need you to be helping them get through that structure. And I have a lot of people that have said, follow up with me in the month because we have vacations. And so it's still like a perfect time. And if you don't really know where to start or you don't really know, how to reach out to people, check out the video I did last night. I just tried to give some really practical tips and I tagged most of the people I think in here, just of like how you go about setting up your power hour, how you go about setting up your invite structure and not overcomplicating it. And I think that was pretty helpful, hopefully, for you guys. I just wanted to recognize Stacy. She's already at Success Club for the month. I know I posted some recognition. We've got some other ladies on the board, and I know a lot of ladies are still pushing. I did have, because I got super excited after my corporate mentorship call, and she suggested we do new prizes for Success Club to get people excited. So I've got some team sweatshirts that are being made by a lady on Etsy. So if you get there, that one of those shirts is yours. And if you need help getting there, please set up a call with me, but make sure you watch the video I posted yesterday and you come prepared with a contact list because I will expect you to have half the work done at least before we get there. But I am completely open, to setting up a time to chat with anyone who wants that help. The other cool thing is, and I posted a video from Carl about it yesterday, but he has announced that if you are someone who is a new coach or you didn't earn any Success Club points in June, and if you are one of the top 100 coaches in the network for Success Club points over the next week, you will win a $500 prize. And that is pretty freaking incredible, you guys. So if you have kind of just been like, like taking your time and not really knowing where to go, like now is the time to go, as I said in my video yesterday, balls to the wall, or just in hustle mode, because you can honestly make that happen. I don't know like what the, Success Club number would be to get there. But like, if you kind of have been one of those people with people in your life that, could benefit from this and you've been waiting to take action, do it. It's like an awesome, awesome incentive. He'll send you a handwritten note, $500. Never seen him do that before. So it's a pretty cool opportunity. And then the Lift 4 challenge packs will be on sale through the end of the month. The Mes to Mas challenge packs will be on sale through the end of the month. So if you do have any Spanish speaking people in your network, that program is really good and you can honestly try it out. There's a sneak peek for you too. And there is an English like subtitle. So keep that in mind as you are following back up with people. If you added people into like the Lift 4 launch party, or, you talk to some people about the beginning of the month, make sure you circle back with all of them. And then as always, like the 2B mindset group we have is open to if you have people that you encounter that really just need the nutrition help. So I think that kind of covers all the bases on the groups. If you have people you're talking to about coaching, our sneak peek from last month is still up, and we're just using that for this month. And then maybe next month we'll do a new sneak peek for people to invite to, and kind of. Megan, do you have a question? Oh, okay. All right. So now I will get into tonight's topic on this social media 101. And I'll tell you guys, like, if you have specific questions or you want to hear a call about something or you want to hear from someone else about something, please just let me know. I'm like always kind of trying to contact other coaches to see who could exchange calls with me. And then there's people on this team that have great stories to share. So I'm always willing to take extra suggestions on things that you just feel like are missing. I think social media is one of these things that like literally we could talk forever about, but I just want to break it down into some like really simple steps and hopefully make it more approachable for you if you feel like it's something that is freaking you out. Like sometimes social media is the number one hurdle that people have when they get started in this. And I honestly think that instead of looking at it as like something that gives you fear, you should look at it as like, wow, I have this amazing platform to really get my message out there to so many more people than I otherwise would be able to. So if you are not using social media, it is basically a non-negotiable in this business, because honestly, that's how we connect with people now. That's how people communicate. And that is where like the majority of sales are made these days. Honestly, Instagram is huge for selling product. So please be using social media and please get comfortable with the idea of it. If you are not actively posting on social media, you really don't have a storefront, is what I like to say. I need people to know that I have a business, that they can contact me on social media to become a part of. And I need to actively be posting on social media of what's coming, so people always know that I have something else that they can be added to, or that they can join in, or that, if they missed out on last month, this month might be a better fit. So in the beginning, I will just start at this. If you are not really using social media and you want to be, I would pick 1 to 2 formats. For me, it's Instagram and Facebook. I don't know much about Pinterest. I never really got into Twitter. Snapchat just totally confuses me. And I just think it's like, stick with what you know. Instagram is huge, you guys. So if you have not really like gone over there and you want to figure out a good platform, like start fresh on Instagram. Totally fine. I think Instagram honestly gives you much more unlimited possibility, but Facebook is more like your warm market. Those people also need to know that you are offering something to them. So just pick 1 to 2 formats. And if you do not have an Instagram account yet, or if you do and it's not set up as a business account, it should be set up as a business account. I know that there have been conflicting, like do personal, do business, but just do business, set yourself up as a public figure. You can choose coach if you want, but I think public figure is kind of nice because it gives people like that curiosity factor. And if you're set up as a business account on Instagram, you can see insights for your post, which mean that you can know like what time you should be posting, who your audience that you're reaching is, where they're located, what their age groups are, what their demographic is. And that's huge. Like if you're making posts and you feel like you're getting 5 likes, look at your insights and go back and see what's performed the best and what time you posted it and what the content was, and try to recreate that, because that's ultimately the goal. So make sure that's set as a business. If you haven't done that yet, it will ask you to link it to a Facebook business account, because Facebook and Instagram have the same owners, right? And if you have to create the Facebook business page, no big deal. Like, honestly, it just creates the page for you through Instagram, and you can have that page over there. You could set it to post the same things. A Facebook business page used to be really valuable, but now it's to the point really where like you have to put a ton of money into running ads to get eyes on that page. So I wouldn't really spend time there. I know that it used to be what people did, and that might be what you see in old videos. At this point, I'd say Instagram and then like your Facebook personal page really have to be like your two main platforms. And if you just want to pick one, I would go Instagram. So that is kind of like just the real basics. And if you haven't done that piece yet, I would say start there. The next thing is posting. Honestly, having the pages but not putting posts really is like, I don't want to say like suicide for your business, but it's like, if people don't know you're there, they don't know what you're doing, like it's not really doing you any good. So you have to be actively posting. And if I'm in like struggle mode, I am posting once a day. If I'm in like ideal, like I'm on top of my game, I'm posting twice a day. On Facebook, you could really post like 3-4 times a day and it won't work against you. On Instagram, 2 times a day on your regular Instagram page is probably like the max that you want to go for. You do have those stories now. And on Instagram stories and Facebook stories, ideally you'd have like 5+ a day. And honestly, that is what people go more towards now. Like, I don't know if you notice, but like you might get 40 likes on a photo, but you're getting 100 people watching your stories. More people are just going for the quick fix, like we are very ADD society. People go straight to the stories now. And the nice thing about like Facebook stories or Instagram stories is that you can set the stories to where they save after you post, and you could go to the other platform and post them there as well. If you have it on Instagram where it's posting to Facebook for you, it will be posting to your Facebook business page. So there is like, you have to do things twice, which is kind of obnoxious, but it is something I would recommend doing, because the people watching your Facebook stories, a lot of times are completely different from the people that are watching your Instagram stories. And those people ultimately are in your business. They're in your community, so you can reach out to them later. I would say on Instagram, and this is where the types of posts come in, but on Instagram, the photo really means everything. Like, you have to have a good quality photo to get someone to stop their scroll to pay attention to you. Whereas on Facebook, you can get away with like just posting type, and that will get a lot of responses. You can get away with maybe not having the best quality photo and telling a huge story, and that will get you different responses. So Instagram, the shorter captions tend to do you more of favors in terms of getting eyes on your post. And then on Facebook, the longer posts tend to work well. I don't really have time to craft different captions for my posts, so I just do the same thing. And my Instagram engagement for my post is not as good as my Facebook engagement for my post, but my Instagram stories do better than my Facebook stories. It is what it is to me at this point, because I don't have all the time in the world. So don't take this and get super confused. Like, honestly, the first goal should be having good pictures and then creating something good to say. And really putting it on both platforms, unless you get to the point where you're like, you want to be very specific in your style on one or the other. If you don't know what to post, I actually put a posting schedule in the event. And this posting schedule came from one of the masterminds I'm in. And it is something that's suggested, not for stories, but just like for your actual page. And really, it gives you like 2 posts a day most days. And like today, it says, lifestyle posts, which just means anything, like you and your kids, maybe post of a recipe, if food is one of your things. Maybe it's like a personal development quote. It could be any of those things for lifestyle. And then the other post today was a health and fitness post. So like maybe it's your post-workout pic. For me, it was like my 30-day sobriety thing. But I do try to follow that schedule every single day. You'll notice tomorrow it says engagement boost post, and then a coaching breadcrumb post. So an engagement boost post is really for Facebook. Engagement means like asking people what their favorite like beach is to go to in South Carolina, and like allowing as many people as possible to comment on that, because that means way more eyes are getting to your profile. You don't do that on Instagram, but you do it on Facebook. And it is on that schedule for 2 days a week. And really the reason why is because that brings a lot of eyes that aren't seeing your post back to your page. And then a coaching breadcrumb post this is where a lot of like people who don't post much about coaching get kind of confused as to what to say. And I think honestly, like in the beginning, it's a lot of sharing, like you're maybe more accountable because of the coaching community, or you have been more consistent than you ever have because of the coaching community, or maybe you bought your family's groceries that week with your income, or maybe you were able to share like a really great personal development recommendation with someone because of coaching. Like anything that kind of gives someone a glimpse into this job that you have, into this coaching job, is great, because it's kind of planting seeds for later, and the responses that you're getting on that give you people that you can invite to coaching later too. And then Wednesday, it does encourage you to go live. I know for some people this is terrifying, but live video does ultimately attract a whole other set of people. And if you don't really know what types of topics to talk about when you go live, like it can literally be anything. You can share a recipe. You can maybe talk about a takeaway in your personal development. You can talk about your struggles, you know, like, and how other people might be going through the same thing. I have honestly challenged myself at times to go live, like when I did 80-day obsession, 80 days in a row, and I was like banging my head against the wall. I don't know what else to say at this point, but it forced me to kind of get outside of my comfort zone, and I think that's the really good thing. And I noticed that, like, I had a few people ask me later, like, why don't you ever go live anymore? So I'm trying to reincorporate that on Wednesdays at least. And if you're more comfortable going live more frequently, totally do it, because I think it's honestly you being real, you know? And then Thursday you'll see is just a direct match of Tuesday. Friday it says to post a transformation pic. I think transformation pics are huge. And if you're in your Instagram feed, you know how you can see the top 9 like last post. I think one almost always has to be a transformation, a view of maybe like one of your best clients, friends, coaches, whatever, because ultimately one of your pillars is being a health and fitness coach. And then I think it says like Friday is a freebie day, just post whatever you want, or Saturday, excuse me. And then Sunday, a coaching opportunity post, like literally inviting people to join your team. And again, that can be based on the community. It can be based on income. It can be based on working on yourself and having that added like layer of accountability through, say, like a test group with Joel, whatever it may be, you know, on Sundays, inviting to your team. And you'll see a lot of times, like, you don't necessarily get people responding saying, ooh, me in, but you can see who watches your posts, and you can see who's responding to those posts. And those people become people that you can invite later. I think a few like just generic tips to have for social media as a coach. One is don't use Beachbody. Don't use hashtag Beachbody. Don't use Shakeology. Don't use hashtag Shakeology. Lift4, Energize. Like, you just sharing exactly what you're doing means that person is empowered to go out and do it on their own. Or maybe they've had annoying Beachbody coaches in their feed before and they prejudge you, you know? So using something that kind of gives curiosity to what you're doing is key. Like if you're going to even post a before and after photo, you can say like, I've been working out for 30 minutes a day, 6 or 7 days a week. I've never done anything like this in my life. Here's my results. And people are going to say, what? What's the first question? What have you been doing? That's what you want. The more comments you can get on your post, the more visibility that post gets. And so I think keeping in mind that like you can rebrand things for yourself. Like you can call Energize Go-Go Juice. You can call Shakeology your Sexy Mama Shake, or whatever you're comfortable with. You can say, I'm doing a lifting program, but I get to do it at home and I finally don't feel like an idiot with weights, you know, like whatever is kind of like alluding to what you're doing without explicitly saying it, so that person has to come to you and ask, is ideal. Another thing is, and this is more for Facebook, but like just sharing posts off other people's pages, that gets you way less visibility. So if there's something that really inspires you that you see that somebody else is posting, take that inspiration and turn it into your own post and use your own picture with it. Because if you're just sharing off of somebody else's page, or you're sharing like one of my invites to a challenge group, what are people going to do? They're going to come to my page, not yours. So make sure that the stuff you're creating is really organic, and that, you know, you are giving them like a reason to come to you because you will be their coach. So sharing, I would not do. I think that it limits your visibility. And if you just get like one like and that's it in the first hour, that post is basically never going to get seen. So the ultimate goal is to post something that like elicits a response or elicits a question or elicits like a congratulations even. And then those types of comments really boost that post for you. I think that the biggest thing about posting really is sharing your story and being authentic. So I know on Instagram, this is used really heavily. Like if you go to my profile, if you go to, I think Kelly's profile is set up this way. Megan, yours might be. I know Stacy's is, Heather's is. But like the top 5 things that you see on my profile, it'll say like Sarah Cronin, public figure. And it will say like attorney, fitness entrepreneur, army wife, like online shopping pro. Like those are my like kind of top things, you know? And I think you have to take a few minutes, like when you're thinking about like how you want your social media to present for yourself, and think about what your top 5 things are. And it's great to change your bio on Instagram to that. And I think that that bio honestly creates a really good reminder to you before you make posts. Like, am I posting something that's kind of in line with those 5 or 6 things that I'm saying are me? And if somebody goes to say your Instagram page, you know, that top 9 really should reflect those 5 or 6 things. And I think that helps you create content so much more easily too. You know, like one of your things is probably obviously going to be a health and fitness coach, but that is really like the only thing about this that should link us all together, right? Like your thing might be like Kelly, I was, you know, like at home gourmet chef, like her big thing is meal prep and sharing these like really beautiful recipes. Like that would be one of her top things. Or maybe like Nicole, like I know you guys obviously are entrepreneurs in the like figurine, I'm not even gonna say this right, industry. Like maybe you somehow incorporate that into your top 5 or 6 things, because ultimately that's your niche, you know? And that's probably a niche that separates you from so many other coaches. I would probably say 99% of them. And that's really cool, because that means that like what you'll see is if you start identifying those things, posting about those things, seeking out other people that post about those things, like you're kind of creating like a community of a bunch of like people that are a lot like you. And that is the beauty of Instagram versus Facebook. Facebook's a little harder to do that, but I think being authentic, being true to yourself, kind of representing those things on Facebook is great too. Facebook can just be used for more like whatever you want it to be. Instagram almost has to be much more like tailored. So the last piece about this and like what your post should look like, I think that's really key is keep in mind who you're speaking to. Like you are speaking to the you that like started on day 1. You are speaking to the you that maybe thought about this a month before you ever started, and you hesitated and you hesitated and you hesitated and you finally did it. You are speaking to the you that is in progress right now. You're not trying to speak to everyone. You're trying to speak to like that person that is having the same pain points as you, that has the same interests as you, and that has the same needs as you. Like for me, you know, I'm speaking to the mom that like feels a little lost, doesn't really understand what she wants to do with her job, doesn't feel good about her body. Like I'm not speaking to the Sarah today that knows what to get up and do and knows to hit play and knows how to meal prep. And I think if you kind of keep that in mind and you speak to those pain points, like that is where you'll start to find too that you are attracting people that are very similar to you and very similar to your journey. And I think that's very empowering actually, because like the moment you have somebody that leans on you in this and they're like, I have anxiety and I like hate the idea of exercise, which was all me. I'm like, girl, I gotcha. That is me. And I've been there, and I'm not trying to make you someone who loves this. I'm trying to make you someone who loves yourself. So like, that's the key, you know? So keep that in mind as you are creating those posts and as you're talking to those people. And then if you have something that works really well, like feel free to recycle it. The amount of people actually see the same things that you post on a day-to-day basis are very small with the way that the algorithms work on Facebook and Instagram. So don't be afraid to recycle old posts. I love to look at my memories each day because I don't like necessarily plan out my posts for the week. And if I see something, I'm like, ooh, that was really good. I'll go back, I'll take the text, and I'll just put a new picture on it. And I'll just like, you know, spruce it up for today. And that is a really easy way sometimes just to make sure you have content out there. And you want to make sure really that like when people are getting on to social media in the high times for the people that are in your community, that you have something that's showing up. You know, on Instagram and Facebook, it is like your story. Sorry, you probably can't see it, but like it's usually like highlighted when you have something new. And then people want to click on that because they're like, oh, she's got new material up. If you're not posting though, they're not going to see your stuff, which means that when they log back on like a day later, you're not going to be prioritized in their list. And so your goal really is to be like constantly sharing content that these people are seeing. And then the other piece of posts really is like on Instagram stories and on Facebook stories now, you can put polls on there. You can like ask people their opinions on things. Those things are really nice too, because if you're using like, I'm going to invite tonight to my next boot camp group in my stories, like my last post of about 5 or 6 on my stories will be like, are you in, you know? And then I'll put like, absolutely sign me up. Tell me more. I don't put yes and no because I don't want to see no. I just want to see like, I want more info. And that is a good way to attract other people. Facebook has a poll now. Instagram has its own poll now. And that's a really nice way to utilize the stories to create your like calls to action. And you really should be doing like at least once a week an invite to join your team and an invite to join your challenge group. And if you don't have a challenge group set up and you want to do one, just make one. You guys, like, there is a script for everything in the coach office. There's always going to be someone who wants to pair up with you and do a free group. There's always going to be someone who wants to pair up and do something. Like if you really want to do a 3-day refresh right after Labor Day, you know, there will be people that want to do it. So don't be afraid to just make this your own. You know what the people in your community would need or benefit from the most. And while I try to create good ideas for things, like sometimes they flop and sometimes I run out of creativity. So it's really nice to have like the, you know, kind of team come up with some different themes too and to host some other groups. I wanted to talk a little bit about like different apps and like ways to create videos, because I feel like this is always a big question. So the way to make your photos look really good, my favorite app is called Snapseed. And if you don't have that on your phone, totally download it, figure out what filter you like on there and use that for almost everything, because Instagram, like cleanliness, when they look at your feed is huge. So using the same filter kind of creates your style. Snapseed is great. There's also one called Pick Tap Go, and that lets you put different filters on your photos. And I will say, like, if you don't have very good lighting in your house, we really don't hear, I kind of have to use filters, or I need to go to a window and use some natural light, and that makes things look a lot better. If you have an iPhone with portrait mode, use that if you can. You can't do it for selfies, but you can do it for other things, and it makes your pictures look absolutely beautiful, like a professional took them. Use that if you can. If you're creating videos, like if you want to do video clips in Instagram or like Instagram or Facebook stories, what I do usually is honestly just use the hands-free mode in Instagram stories. If you hold it down for like a second, it'll give you a countdown, 3, 2, 1, and you can just do a quick clip of that workout move. And instead of actually posting it right away, because I want to kind of like, you know, personalize it a little bit, I'll save it. And I do that during my workouts. I'll just try to do like 3 to 4 moves a workout, ones that I like or ones that I think are different, and save them and go back later and like make them into an actual story. If you want to actually do like videos, like Heather does a lot of really good videos, and you have an iPhone, you can just use iMovie to edit videos. The one thing though is make sure your phone is on its side when you're filming if you're going to make it a video clip for like just your standard feed. Because this gives you the actual video specifications, whereas this gives you those white bars on the side, which doesn't look as good like if you're going to go post it on Facebook or Instagram later, if you're doing like a workout clip or some sort of video clip of like a recipe or something like that. If you don't have an iPhone, I don't really know. I know that there's an app called Splice that's really good for videos. And honestly, oh, you use that. Okay. So you can honestly just video like for 10 minutes and you can go back into iMovie or Splice and just cut out pieces that you don't want. And that makes it look nice whenever people are going to go watch it. You can speed things up too, since we all like want to see things really quickly. Another few things are like, if you are like me and you don't really have good lighting in your house, like I actually bought this little selfie case. Of course it's dead. You have to charge it separately. But if you click this little button on the back, it gives me a light in the front. I can click it again. It gives me a light in the back. And that makes photos look a lot better too, when I'm in a place that doesn't necessarily have as good of lighting. There's also little like ring lights you can buy on Amazon for like $20. I don't like that as much. I like the case a little bit better. So that's what I have. And then if you want to like film your workouts and stuff, these little cheapy tripods on Amazon probably are like 10 or $15. And this is really like, honestly, just great for, you know, not having your phone just on the ground or in some weird angle. You know, you can adjust it and manipulate it to make it look a little bit better. Also, if you want to spend a little bit more money, there's these things called a Diva ring. It's literally a giant light. One of my success partners has one, and she literally probably posts a selfie a day from those things. And it looks professional. It looks great. I just don't even know where I'd put that thing, and my kids would probably break it. But there's like a knockoff version on Amazon if you're someone who wants to like have professional headshots that you do at your home, or, you know, whatever. Like, it's really good. And then here's like another tip that is probably going to sound weird, but like if you're having a really good day of makeup and hair and you like your outfit, like take a ton of pictures that day, just in different places or whatever, and then go back and use them for different posts. Like maybe not back to back to back to where your Instagram feed looks like diverse, but like just save them. Like having something I can always go back to and slap on a quote that I really like, or maybe a like challenge group invite is good, because I like tonight, I'm not going to go take a bunch of pictures of myself, you know? So having something I can go back to is really huge. And if you want to change shirts a few times, put your hair up in a few, like that's fine. You know, people want to see your face in your photos. If they're following you for a reason. So take advantage of those days where like you feel like it's a good day to, you know, take photos. Okay, so now I just want to get into like the practical stuff. Like one of the first things after you get your post down and, you know, you're taking the right photos and things like that is growing your network. This is something honestly that takes very little time, but if you don't do it, then you will start to feel like you're running out of people. On Facebook, like the goal would probably be to add like 3 to 5 people a day, unless you're new at this and you only have a couple hundred friends. I would say then increase that number to like maybe 5. And the easiest way to do this really is to go into your suggested friends, which I don't know, like on the mobile feed, it shows up at a random time, but find your, oh, here it is. Okay. People you may know. You're not going to be able to see any of this. Sorry. But you know, it gives you people's photos right there. And for me, I'm honestly at the point where I just randomly add people if we have like 50 friends, because I don't know. I don't really know anyone else like legitimately. And sometimes I see their face so many times that I think I know them. And they'll either accept or not, no big deal. But like, I just want to continuously be adding people to make sure that like, you know, things are staying fresh. Like I'm kind of always going to have people to talk to. Instagram also gives you suggested friends. So that is like the number one place you could look. Another great option is like on Facebook. You can go to someone like your husband, look at his suggested friends for you and add everyone that you know there. Do the same thing with your mom, your best friends. After a while, if you've kind of done that and you feel like you've added a lot of people, I would then start to go with like colleagues or maybe friends that you're really close to. And then you'll start to see people that are like, oh, wait, I know that person. And over time, like you're growing a network of more people that you actually know. And then after 3 years, it might be, maybe it's like you're getting weird friend requests from me, but whatever. Like some people are just open to accepting them. Instagram, the same thing. So Instagram, the best way to grow a network is not even through hashtags anymore. It is through going to like the account of something that really speaks to you. Like for me, I love like fashion blogs. So I try to go to like there's a girl in Charlotte. She's a fashion blogger, but she also does a ton of fitness stuff. So I'm like, perfect. Like her people follow her because they want to see her fitness tips and her fashion clothes. I also do those things. And I've got this other thing that like I could, you know, appeal to them with. So I would go to her page and follow a bunch of her followers. As of late, I've been doing like different law school accounts or like the, Molly, this would be good for you, but like the South Carolina Bar Young Lawyers Division, or I don't even know if I'm considered a young lawyer anymore. So maybe then it becomes like just the South Carolina Bar. But like finding kind of these third party pages that are like your niche, like dental hygiene, you know, association, whatever, kind of connecting with other people that are in your profession is really great because like one, you have a point of reference to talk about something with them, but then two, like if they start to follow you and they're very interested in what you're posting about, it becomes kind of a natural conversation. It flows a lot more easily. And I kind of made a point to do this with like law schools and the Young Lawyers Division and things like that, because I ultimately was thinking like I would like to grow our team with people who maybe need that disposable income for student loans. So it seemed to just make sense that I would kind of go that route. The other thing I wanted to share for tonight, and this is going to be a little confusing, like I'll have to set you up with a different video about it, but there's this new app that I just watched a video about, and it's called Captivate, and you can actually link it to your Instagram, and it makes things very simple. Like I feel like it simplifies what Instagram actually looks like, but you go into your main page and it suggests a ton of accounts for you right off the bat. I don't use this on the front page because it's a lot of coaches for me or like fitness professionals that have thousands of followers, but I use the search function and I can go then search for that page. Like I did South Carolina Bar, YLD. And it showed me, it's like their Instagram page, but then you can look at their followers, and instead of it being like the list that Instagram gives you, it has like little bubbles with their faces on it. And I just picked like every female that showed up that looked semi-normal. And you can actually set this, like your action would be to like auto follow these people, and you could set it on a little timer to where auto follows like every 60 seconds when you're asleep. There's like a night mode that you can use, and it can follow accounts for you at a rate that like Instagram is not going to shut you down. So if you really want to grow your Instagram following, that is awesome. And what you can do is like pick Sunday, Monday, Tuesday night, go in and follow like 50 people a night or 100 people a night. And then on like, you give it like 3 or 4 day delay, look at it again on Sunday, and it'll show you everyone you're following that's not following you back. And then you can unfollow those people. So it's kind of a very efficient way to really grow your Instagram network. I will send you a separate like Instagram training that I watched to find out about it if you want to learn more about that, because I know for some people it's like way over your head. I think first you have to have good content, then you have to make sure you're growing your following with the right people. But if you're just going to grow your network and you don't have the content there, they're probably not going to follow you back. So I think that you have to master them, in kind of steps. And then the next thing you want to make sure you're doing is actually engaging with your network. If people are commenting on your post, you should always be commenting back. And what you'll notice is that like if the post was a week or 2 ago, and you haven't commented back and you go back and comment, it actually bumps that post back up in the news feed. So you'll start to see more engagement on it. So I would encourage you to make sure you always are like responding to your comments that you're getting. On Instagram, you can like or love the comment. Facebook, you could do the same thing, and that will reboost your posts. And then on Facebook and Instagram, if you're commenting on other people's posts, they will start to see your stuff more because Instagram and Facebook says, oh, these two like each other. I will show that person your post. So engaging on other people's content is big too. I think you have to do it in a very efficient way so you're not like sucked into social media for hours on end. But maybe you just are very strategic. You pick like 5 or 10 people that that like these people would be so ideal to join you in a group or to join your team. Like maybe those are the people you focus on, really engaging in their content until like you start to have the conversations with them. And then honestly, starting conversations in Messenger, whether it's Facebook Messenger or Instagram Messenger, also shows those people your post more because the social media sites say, oh, like these two are connected. And so I think sending messages to people who are liking your post repetitively, saying thank you is huge. Sending happy birthday messages on Facebook is huge. And then when you're going to be sending these messages, like try to always end it with a question so that they engage back. And keep those comments going, as often as possible. And those will sometimes turn into invites for you. And I think the best like piece of advice I can give on that is you ask them questions that you want them to ask you in return. So like, talking to them about their summer travel plans, talking to them about their job, talking about work-life balance, things like that, come back to you and allow you to kind of say what you've been doing and allow you to segue into talking about this. And you'll see they'll start to take more note of the things that you're doing after you start engaging with them. And then the last few things I wanted to say is I mentioned like putting out a call to action on your social media platforms like once or twice a week. really on stories, you could do a different invite a day. Like, you know, you could talk about Energize today, and you could say like, you ever want to try it? Like, you know, holler at your girl or whatever. Then the next day, maybe it's like, you want to join my team? Like, send me a message. I think asking people to drop an emoji or do a poll is the best way to get like a response on stories. But you can literally do a different call to action each day. And you have to make sure that you are also sending out individual invites, because I could tell you, I put out calls to action all the time. No one responds to them. And then I message the people that have liked that post. They're like, well, actually, I've like kind of been interested in it. So, or they just say no, but you know, I'm like, okay, well, you like my post, so I appreciate it. But I do think that if they're continuously liking those types of posts where you put calls to action, or you're talking about your team, or you're talking about your groups, like those people need to be invited. They are a part of your community. And I know that this is where like our team really struggles, is feeling salesy. But I have to say, like, if somebody would have invited me, I would not be here, and I would be in a much different place that wouldn't be where I am now. And I said it last night, like, I only paid $160 to start this. I would have paid thousands of dollars to start this if I would have known like what it was going to do for me. And I think belief in what you're doing is huge. But I also think that like not withholding it from someone else is really big too, because you just don't know. You don't know what somebody else is struggling with and what they're going through. You don't know how many people are watching you and not saying anything. And you can't just make posts and expect people to come to you, because more often than not, there's a fear attached. But when you open that line of communication, are like, oh, she took notice of me. There's so many people that I send thank yous to on Instagram, people who watch my stories, things like that. And like Molly, I think Molly was watching my stories. And I was like, well, do you want to try it? And she's like, well, what about that Energize? I'm like, no, like, let's talk to you about the whole thing, you know? And she and I have become super close friends just as a result of that. I mean, I guess we could probably, all of us could say that about each other at some point with this, but I just think like, if I wouldn't have had this offer, like where would I be? And so I take that mindset when I go out and talk to other people about it. And some people don't want to do it. No big deal. Some people are rude about it. No big deal. They're not going to put out my fire. There's a lot more that could be shared about social media, but I just was hoping to give you the general overview. I'm more than happy to do like audits of your social media. You can do audits of mine and tell me what's stinking. I'm totally happy to take feedback, because I think that ultimately this is like a huge piece of our business. If you are someone who gets very overwhelmed by the amount of time you think that this takes, I would just encourage you to follow the posting schedule I put up. And when you get on social media, get on to do your things and then get off. Don't just stop and scroll, because the days that I am like, I didn't get anything done today, it's days that I just stopped and scrolled. Being very intentional with the time is huge.
I did do that Captivate last night, and it's really pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think
and it's not too hard, but I think it limits you for the free one to like 50 actions, right? So
yeah.
like if you see that you have 50 people that you're following that aren't following you, you can easily unfollow them. But then I think now I have to like, and it'll still show you all the people that aren't following you, but then you have to like go in and manually do it, which I think it's probably worth making the purchase especially if you're wanting to like do the quick follows.
Is it $14.99? Is that what it was?
You know what? I didn't click on it because I was like just messing with it and just trying to figure it out. And I what you said about like, I guess I was still trying to wrap my head around like, okay, so it like speed follows me with people, and then what the heck do I do with those people?
Yeah.
So just you saying that like you wait a couple days, see who actually follows you, who's interested in what you have to offer, and then going from there. Because I mean, you don't want to follow like, you know what, 100, 200 people and then start sending out messages when they like have no, you know, have absolutely no interest in, you know, talking to you at all.
Yeah. So what I've done with that, because I just started using this 2 weeks ago, is I've said like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday will be my like massive follow days. And then like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'm kind of just looking at who's watching my stories and who follows me back of those people. And then I send them messages. And a lot of the messages, Instagram is like the happiest, nicest place, you guys. Like Facebook, people will ghost you all day long. Instagram, people are just like, oh, wow, thanks for the message. And a lot of people have said, like, I really like your healthy tips. It's great to follow you. Like, what type of law do you practice? I've connected with other lawyers. Like, that part about it is, I think, going to be, like, really a game changer for later on. I know I'm new to it, but I do think, like, if you can kind of work on growing your network through that and you find your niche, like, I think it's going to be pretty big deal.
So you added it on. Did you look to see like what the subscription's like if you can, like if you decide you don't like it or that you don't want to keep doing it, or
I thought it was just a one-time thing. I was like,
that it's just like $15 like just to buy the app.
I thought so. And then if you want to,
well, that's
if you
cheap.
want to
I
link
didn't
it,
know if it was monthly.
if you want to link it to your cloud, it's like $10.
Right. I don't understand the daggum.
I don't really know what that means. I just know that it basically like banks all these people for me. And then when I go to bed, I go into night mode and I turn it on and it completes an action every minute. Right. And ultimately the goal is like just to grow your follow. Like my goal right now is to get to 10,000 people just so I could swipe up or get the swipe up.
Oh,
feature.
Is that how you swipe up?
Yeah. It used to just be for verified accounts and now it's for 10,000 followers. And to be honest, I have like some of the weirdest followers. They're totally fake people or whatever. I could tell, or I get these creepy messages that are like in my junk, but I'm just like, whatever. Like for right now, I want you to boost my number. I just block them in their message. Courtney, you're on a little behind, but like I was just telling them about that Captivate app. I sent you guys, I think in a separate thread, like an Instagram training from this girl, and I actually messaged her to ask her if she would do a call for us. She didn't respond. I'm like, whatever. I'm just gonna try her. And she is like in this year alone grown her following from like, I don't know, 800 people to 8,000 or something. And so I messaged her being like, hey, would you do a call for our team? Like she went from coach to 3-star diamond in like 4 months or something. And it's all because of Instagram. And I think Instagram's a really easier way to invite people to just like, hey, if I were to give you a tailored fitness and nutrition plan, would you want to join me for 30 days?
I love that. Yeah, I listened back to your thing and I watched that video, and I actually downloaded the app and I have to go back and figure out. I can't figure out how to, and I'll go back and watch the call because I'm sure I've already talked about this, but I haven't figured it out either, Kelly.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not doing like, if you're only going to follow like 25 to 30 people at a time, I don't think you have to do all the other stuff she talked about, but I think she's literally doing like 100 plus, you know, and I think with that, Instagram would shut you down if they saw like this number of actions coming at one time. So I think that's where you have to be kind of careful about what you're doing.
Right, and like set it for a minute. Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else have any questions?
Yet, Sarah, where you're like setting it for a minute and doing it overnight?
Yeah. I did it last week.
Does it pretty much show you how to do it through the app?
I mean, I just listened to her. She said so you add it to your cloud queue. So I had to pay $10 extra to do that. And then when you're about to go to bed, you plug it up to a charger and then you go into night mode. And it was like preset, one action every 60 seconds.
Okay. I don't know. The cloud really confuses me. So I'll rewatch that.
On
cloud.
I got about like how you tell it. Like it goes in and finds your. I can totally go back and listen to it, but I couldn't figure out like how you. I saw in the settings how you set it up. I saw the cloud thing and all that, but how are you supposed to tell it like select preferences and stuff like that? I think that's where I was getting confused. Like it was suggesting all like coach looking people.
Yeah.
No, that's not what I wanted to do.
I search for specific pages.
Okay.
Like you might look at natural medicine clinics and follow their followers. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like whatever speaks to you. I was doing law schools. Like I put,
Then you selected those pages, and then you set it up. It goes in and actually follows the.
no, you have to do that. So I would go to the page, look at their followers, just click a bunch of different faces, and then let it do its thing.
So you select, and then okay, I got it. And that's setting it up to do the actual following while you're sleeping.
Yeah, there are third parties you could pay to do that, but in my experience, I did do that, and it's given me like people that aren't, I don't think my people.
Worth it.
So,
Yeah. Okay.
With Instagram, I took a second and was trying to mess with the whole business tools, and it tells you to link to a page through Facebook. So that's where I would probably need to go and create a Facebook like business page, or public figure page or whatever, and link it to that.
It's my understanding it will do it for you. If you say create as business.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that, but I was like, well, hold on, let me wait and ask first, because I didn't know if I need to link it to something else, or if I created, or just go ahead and do it straight through Instagram.
Just do it through Instagram and let it create one for you. I just wouldn't spend any time like building a business page on Facebook.
Okay. That works.
Sorry, I'm meal prepping. I had my nephew's birthday tonight, so today was kind of a.
Hey, Sarah.
You're good. Do you have a question, Lynn? Sorry, Nicole.
Oh, yeah. I just the list for like the actions for the week. That's on the one from the live from last night, or did you post it somewhere else? We were cutting in and out coming over the road.
I put just a little posting schedule in this event, but I'll post it in the team page too.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Nicole?
Hey, so this is going to sound like a really silly question, but I was looking over the social media schedule. What is a breadcrumb post?
It's like where you share about like something that coaching has done for you. But you don't like actively say, join my team. Like it might be, like this is giving me more confidence, or this is giving me more accountability, or it's giving me some extra income to go on a date night with my husband, or just like a community post, about like the network. It could be like a post about this, like, got a social media education last night from this job, like whatever. Like this could be used in my day job too, or this could be used in my other side business. I think you kind of make it like what it might appeal to more people. For me, like a lot of times I talk about community and I talk about income.
Okay, thank you.
I think it's just keeping the fact that like in the beginning, a lot of us just want to post about challenge groups. And for some people, like honestly, the income might be what brings them in, or the community might be what brings them in, not the like, I need a whole health and fitness transformation thing,
Yeah, so it's basically a post without a direct call to action with it.
Yeah. And you can always like create an application in Google Forms that's really simple, that just says like, client interest form or coach interest form, name, email, like best way to contact you, phone number, something like that. And always link it below your post. And you can link it to your Instagram. Like the only place you can link something out is in your bio. But you can use Linktree, which is a third-party app for that. And just having something simple that you're able to collect info for people who see these posts but they don't feel comfortable just messaging you is not a bad idea. I have one. I think it's linked on my business page and in my Instagram bio. But that's always good to put on the or the breadcrumbing type post, or the non-call to action type post, because people have like something that they could do if that really intrigues them,
Yeah. Thank you.
You got it. Does anybody else have any questions? I know we're at an hour. Sorry, this is just like a heavy topic. Okay, well, I have recorded it. I'll post it in the team page. If you have any more questions that you think of, or if you want to chat more about content or things like that, please don't hesitate. Get some rest. Bye, y'all.
Bye.